All right, so Jeskai Control. This was the premier control deck of the previous format, and it gained Hallowed Fountain as the biggest upgrade to add consistency to its mana. I've also gone ahead because we gained a bunch of blue sources. I've swapped from Ionize to Absorb. Control decks were never really interested in dealing extra damage, but they are super interested in gaining 3 life. You'll note that I have a split between 1 Sabotage and 4 Absorb. And while Sabotage is better in the control matchups and against mid-range decks, Absorb is much, much better against aggro, and aggro is the archetype that gives you less time to stumble. So I think having my counterspells be better against aggro is a hedge that I'm interested in doing. Other small selections here, you'll note that I have a split between Teferi and Ral. I really like being able to get 2 planeswalkers going at once, so I'm interested to see how that goes. I've got 1 precog in here that we're trying out. I've got a couple of Nivs in the main as a fast way to close the game. And then post-board, I've got a bunch more threats and another Niv-Mizzet and Crackling Drakes and Lyra to close the game even faster. I'm also trying out a couple copies of Warrant Warden, which is a removal spell or threat if we need it to be. So let's go ahead and dive into some matches and see how this goes. I know a lot of people have been interested in finding out what control decks feel good. We played a little bit of Esper and felt pretty underwhelmed by it. And this deck is basically just a small upgrade to one of the last season's good decks, so I'm expecting it to be very reasonable. I don't think Electrodominance solves any problem this archetype has. I heard you talk a lot about Win-More cards as being a Win-More an inherently bad quality or not. Being a card that is Win-More is an inherently bad quality. So when I describe something as Win-More, what I mean is it's a card that's generally only good when you're already winning the game. So if this card's only good when you're already winning and it's bad when you're behind, like, it's basically only helping you when you don't need help, which makes it not worthwhile. Hey, Rudy Cast, thanks for the brand new Prime Support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. It's actually warmer out today, so I'm going to turn my heat down real quick. Sorry, that beep was a little loud. A little louder than I was expecting. That is really unfortunate. We do play 26 lands in this deck to hopefully avoid situations like this, but they are going to happen on occasion. And Captive Audience is Win-More and Grixis. Captive Audience actually seems like a really sweet card. Captive Audience is an actual win condition. Yay, magic. Do you think Quench is good enough? No, I'd rather just have... So you're saying Quench is good because it's good against aggro? I'd rather just have removal spells against aggro. I'd much rather just have removal spells against aggro. Obviously, they didn't fix the shuffler bugs. I think I'd rather have some of the other... rather have some of the other cards that we have access to at 5 mana for card advantage, rather than something like Mirari Conjecture. Generally speaking, if you're playing a Win-More card, you could play a different card that's better when you're behind that also helps you close the game out. So a card that's only good as a closer when literally any closer would be good is not a good card to be playing, generally speaking. You think people care more / compete harder when stakes are involved, such as money? No, I don't think so. I think intrinsically different people are driven by different things. And that implying that money automatically makes people try harder just isn't true. And even if you could say that money makes people try harder, that's automatically true. And that doesn't make people better Magic players, right? Like, you can't try harder if you're just like a garbage Magic player. So, like, it doesn't add skill to the game to, like, add money to the game, because people don't magically get better at Magic. So I want more spot removal here. I probably don't mind Shivan Fire. How many counter spells do I want to end up on is And that's the other thing too. It costs way more to win a Magic tournament than you'll ever get out of it on average. Like, most people spend years grinding before they hit that big break. Very, very large amounts of money will potentially bring in players that otherwise wouldn't be playing. But it's usually takes a pretty significant amount of money to make changes like that happen. We've yet to play Jeskai Control with the new cards. So this is my first draft of Jeskai Control with RNA cards included. And it has a bunch of tap lands in it, but at least it plays 3 lands in 3 turns. This was a build around. This was someone said, hey, will you build and play your preferred version of Jeskai Control? So this is card for card the version of Jeskai Control that you'll currently find on my website. I think Warden's really good. That's why I'm playing it. So, Chemister's Insight hopefully means I'll get to hit my land drop next turn. That's actually a really interesting question. I wonder if Artifact's still gonna have that tournament or not. I'm not gonna lie, I have a playset of Artifact cards because it was so cheap to buy a full playset, because if that tournament's still happening, I might try and play in it, or queue for it, or whatever it's gonna be. Hey, Grilled Tarpan, thank you very much for the 10 months up there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Listen, Artifact sucks, chat, but $1 million is $1 million. That's all I'm saying, okay? Yeah, I agree with that, Jin. Strategically speaking, it's a reasonable game. It just isn't much fun to play. Hopefully they play land and ooze here and then I get to sweep them. Hey, here's my fat boy. Paint me like one of y'all French girls. Rude. Hey, we're about to give chat a very wonderful lesson on why Deputy of Detentions is not a great Magic card. Are you ready, chat? Are you ready? Dice to Doomblade. Good. Good. Dice to Doomblade. Glad we could cover that together. Excellent. Especially, like, Deputy of Detentions might be okay in some situations, but it's definitely terrible against removal-heavy decks like what we are currently playing. It's definitely terrible against decks like what I'm playing right now. So, Niv-Mizzet has a big text box on it for those of you that haven't seen it played before, but hidden in this pile of text is the line, if you untap with this, you win the game. Yeah, I played a little bit of Adrian Sullivan's build of Jeskai last season, and I wasn't super impressed with it. It felt incredibly clunky to me. Just had a lot of cards that just, like, gummed up in your hand and died, and the games where you didn't have treasure map on 2 felt just way worse than the games where you did. Loving the new set. Keep up the great content. Lemony, thank you for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Untapping with win, Niv is not an auto win. Sure, but I'm a Magic player, so I like to talk in hyperbole. 9 times out of 10, you win the game in a control deck when you untap with Niv-Mizzet. You're technically correct. You don't win every time you untap with it, but guess what? You win most of the time. Most of the time, it works every time. Actually, what's better to craft, Esper or Jeskai? The conservative answer is Jeskai, because Jeskai was a known good deck last season, so that means it will likely still be a known good deck this season. However, decks like Esper Control are pretty difficult to build and tune, so even if there is going to be a good Esper deck this season, we likely don't know what it is just yet. Rude. Alright, fine. Kill my Azcanta. Have another one here. Alright. Lava Coil, please. One Lava Coil, please. Oh, Magic's so easy. Magic is so easy, chat. Is it safe to craft Teferi? Yeah, Teferi's gonna be played in every good deck. This card's great. Not going anywhere. Although I am looking for lands right now, so we're gonna bin him here. Gosh! Gosh, why are we so good at this, chat? Why are we so good at Magic? If they attack with both of these, so I'm actually going to warrant the Land War Elves here, and the reason I'm doing this is because if I draw my 5th land next turn, they don't have enough power in play to kill Teferi. Rats. Yeah, there's at least one. You can always find the deck queue on my website. If you have a question about what's in it. Am I supposed to ditch Teferi, or is there Azcanta here? I think I'm supposed to ditch Search, right? I think I'm supposed to ditch Search. Now this might be one of those actually situations where we don't untap with Niv and win the game. Okay. We have 8 sweepers in our deck here. I'm just dead, right? Teferi Tuck is leaves me dead on board. Oh wait, I have 7 lands, right? I can Teferi Tuck and still Justice Strike? Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Alright, it's fine. We're good. We're good. I didn't compute that I had a 7th land. Yeah, we're at 1, even if they have a removal spell here. There's a good chance this is a concession strike. You got a 3/3. Oh, you know what? Am I supposed to... Maybe I'm supposed to shoot this a whole bunch. Yep. Excellent. How are we doing, folks? Good morning, afternoon, good night to everybody, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping by here today. My name is Jeff Hogan. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. Thanks for keeping me. As always, a big shout out to all my subscribers out there. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. Past my subscribers, I wouldn't be here without some of my awesome sponsors. Harry's Razors would love to help you get that close, clean shave using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/shrivelshave. You can save $5 on your brand new starter kit with them. Remember, just because you like playing the degenerate decks doesn't mean you need to look like it. Hurley Burley Studio does professional Magic the Gathering altars. By heading over to hurleyburleystudio.com, you can find a great portfolio of border extensions and full art replacements that she does there. Cardshare.com would love to help you turn your cards into other cards directly to the players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. And of course, inkedgaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of custom artwork that they have on their website. We are heading on into our next match here with Jeskai Control. Feeling pretty reasonable still in the new set. Magic-related product, like I do what I can. What are degenerate decks? Degenerate decks, yeah, generally refer to combo decks that are not interactive. So something like the Nexus of Fate combo decks would be referred to as degenerate, using Magic vernacular. Something like the Mono Red Steamkin deck would be considered degenerate, using Magic vernacular. Seems like a very reasonable keep here. You'll turn to search or turn to removal spell, depending on what they're doing. How am I able to say all that without breathing? Practicing and speaking from my diaphragm and taking long breaths. Eminem. Lots of rapping as a small child. Is there anything I need to do besides saying a cheer? Is there anything I need to do besides saying a cheer is for a deck of the queue? Nope. And At Home Gamer, thank you for the biddy. Sorry about that. I was mid chill, so those will definitely get added. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Yeah, whenever you cheer 100 bits or more, or donate $1 or more, you can always mention a deck that's in the queue, and I'd be happy to bump that up. The people that support my stuff here dictate what we do. All the content here is viewer focused content. You're on the Harry's website now. Their stuff is great. All of my sponsors that I personally line up, I always make sure to test their products before I use it. So like, they sent me one of the razor kits before I took them on as a sponsor, and I use them as my day-to-day razor now. Theater of Horrors, well that's terrifying. You ever tried hosting an auction? No, but I think that could be fun sometime. Got an answer to Judy, so that's good. You can find a deck list on your screen via the Stream Decker widget. You can also type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list. Ooh, that's terrifying. Don't forget a witty comment for Jeff to read, because we all know that's why we donate. For Sunbird, please. We'll do case in. Best of 3 ranked happens at the end of the month, January 31st. Like 8 p.m. or sometime when the existing preseason closes, the ranked best of 3 ladder will be added for the second preseason. Hopefully they play Judy here, so we can go ahead and Lava Coil. That's also a good card to Lava Coil. I would love a land, thank you. In control decks, I feel like Pierce is getting more and more necessary with all these good enchantments. Spell Pierce? No, I don't think... Spell Pierce isn't really what a control deck wants to be doing. If you feel like your control deck needs to play Spell Pierce, you should probably just be playing an aggro deck. Yep. Yeah, Mortify is really good. Honestly, like, you know, Mortify's kind of a reason to be in the other colors. Am I supposed to... I think I'm gonna Justice Strike Judy here. And then if I hit a land, I'm gonna Cleansing Nova enchantment since I have a backup search. I can't bin this in good conscience here, right? Don't know how to add that to White Blue Dovin Band. Sounds good. I think I just have to keep this. land. Ding. Ding. We are pretty far ahead taking the theater off the table. I love hidden mode cleansing Nova. It's my favorite mode. Those are pretty good follow-ups. I have 3 Deafening Clarions and 2 Novas left in my deck. So there's 6 cards in here. To bump Black-White Angels will do. Oh, did I miss it, Jeff Fader? I'm sorry. Yeah, you definitely did. Thanks, Steve. So do I make a 4/4? I think I just search plus Warrant Judy here. I think that's the line. So if I Warrant Judy, I'm only taking 4 in combat. So I'm going to do, and search, if I just bin the top card of my deck, it transforms, which guarantees me Niv-Mizzet next turn. We did just start Jeskai, Jeff, so we're not going to get to the next deck for about another hour still, as a heads up. And I'm actually, yeah, going to bin this because I want to flip this. Oh, yeah, Warrant is 7. You're super correct. If they have a Mortify, I'm going to be a little bit sad, but if they don't have Mortify, Niv should take the game over for us. That's really good. Well... One Deafening Clarion, please. All right. So I'm not dead on board. Great. Need a brick out of them. If they hit a brick, Chemister's Insight would be great. That's not lethal. It's kind of lethal. All right, so that this puts me to 1 this attack, which means I can't kill this, so I have to hit a Deafening Clarion now. Or Lava Coil, correct. Deafening Clarion or Lava Coil. Clarion, my wayward son. God, we're using all the hidden modes today. Just mono hidden modes. There'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. You're definitely right. Untap with Niv definitely doesn't read win the game, right, chat? That's not true. How do I get this good at drawing? Years of practice. Yeah, sweet. I owe it all to turn 2. I owe it all to turn 5. Cleansing Nova, destroy the theater whores. You know, I wonder, looking at the sideboard, I wonder if not having copies of Invoke the Divine is wrong. I feel like not playing Invoke the Divine is probably wrong in this deck. Likely a mistake. Maybe we'll change that after this match. Been watching a bunch of YouTube content. Glad to be in a live one. Really some of the best Magic content out there. I'm not 100% sure how this works, but put them towards dealer's choice. Is what I like to say. Well, thank you, RudyCast. I appreciate it. That's exactly how that works. Thanks for supporting my content here. I think at least one invoke is good. Maybe over the third Ixalan's binding. Or I need to cut 3 cards here. Absorb is much better than Sabotage. And if you want to hear my full thoughts on why, you're definitely going to want to watch the start of this video today, later on YouTube. Trim some of the card advantage at the top end, probably. Hey, Sith Zero with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much. I think Warrant's good just as a removal spell. Like, making them redraw a really crappy 1-drop is great. Do I want Cleansing Nova? I probably want Nova, right? I'm gonna trim and Absorb. So someone asked why I'm boarding in Crackling Drakes. Crackling Drake often helps you win the game after you untap with it, and Crackling Drake plus Deafening Clarion is very, very good because giving your Drake lifelink helps you live through games that you wouldn't normally live through. Yeah, you can't have 2 Teferis in play at once, but you can have Teferi and Drow. Oh, I guess Lyra could be okay to bring in here too. Yeah, I should bring Lyra in, I think. Is this a Sneep on the draw? I don't know. It's a little clunky and there's no sweeper. I guess Warrant makes it keepable. Yeah, I should have boarded in the Lyras. That's probably better than the Drakes. Why you choose to have both? Yeah, I have both because they won't let me play 6 Absorbs. If Magic Arena will let me play 6 Absorbs, I'd play 6 Absorbs. Definitely mis-sideboarded not bringing in Lyra. Yeah, Lyra should come in against all aggro. I spent so much time talking about why not the other card that we were talking about, Invoke the Divine, that I missed the Lyras. Definitely should come in against every aggro deck. So here's the thing, and this is how I think you should approach deck building in an intelligent manner, in my experience. Absorb is better in the matchups that are hard for this deck. That's how I make my decisions on cards. So you're right, they're both very similar cards that are good in different spots. Sabotage definitely has upside in places where Absorb doesn't, but there are also the matches where Absorb's upside is better. You need the upside a lot more, is what it comes down to. That is how Garfield intended it to be played. You're not wrong. I went ahead and didn't Deafening Clarion 2 things there because I wanted to get greedy. I am, however, going to go ahead and clear 3 things. Get my 2 for 1. I don't know that I would play more than 6 Absorbs, but 6 Absorbs would probably be the sweet spot. I agree, buddy. Completely agree with that assessment. I think that's what it's been for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have been into Modern because Standard was bad. But good Standard are the best formats Magic has to offer, in my opinion. All right, what are the odds I die next turn? Low? I think the answer is low. I'm going to shock and play this.
Right on, skip. Hurry.
Justice Strike. Rats. Hero is very good. We've played a bunch of different hero decks, and they've all been pretty impressive. If you're a fan of the play patterns of the card Young Pyromancer, you will love Hero in this format. We are super dead to Heroic Reinforcements here, but that's just how it goes. Tajik. Yep, is that also lethal? This is 7, 8, 9. Oh, we're going to 1. Right? Going to 1. More importantly, Tajik means Deafening Clarion no longer works, so I have to draw Cleansing Nova.
No time for
I guess that's not strictly true. I could have tucked Tajik. We are dead here. Yeah, not boarding in Lyra is a pretty big punt. I'm gonna fix that now. Can you explain why you do? Yeah, in the matchups where you want card advantage, actually, here's the big answer. This card is the reason to play Ral. In the mirror match, Ral tends to be better than Teferi because Teferi tucks Niv-Mizzet and they get back to it very quickly and you can't counter it on the way back down, whereas Ral actually takes Niv off the table, which is a huge difference. It's very important that you're able to actually take this card out of play in the control mirrors or against the Drake's decks. No, I think 3 Azcanta is great. This is a card you almost always want to see, and once you have 1 Azcanta in play, you can stop yourself from drawing a second one most of the time. Plus, there's a lot of Mortifies running around in the format now, which makes playing more Azcantas even better. Yeah, punt is what we refer to as a play mistake. Punt is synonymous for play mistake. Maybe I don't want the Drakes and I just want the Lyras. That's probably not unreasonable. Sure. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little anti-aggro cards. 4 little, 5 little, 6 little anti-aggro cards. Plenty of lands to cast all our spells now. Beep, 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 beep. Dealer's choice. Pick your favorite. Magic's great. Magic's great. This game's easy. Easy game. Watch him duress us again. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to be competitive and what is not. One exile, please. So we're missing land drops, but they appear to be missing a color, so fair's fair. If they heroic fort reinforcements and beat beep here, I might just trade Clarion 1 for it. Tajik, sure. What do I sleep up? I have no idea. If there's a $1 million Magic tournament tomorrow and I was qualified for it, I would have been practicing. If I care enough to spend a bunch of my time going to play in a tournament, I don't just show up and not practice. This, I think, maybe. What if it was a last second invite? That doesn't really happen for tournaments that are that big. No, I'm not planning to go to the SCG tournament. The weather forecast changed. There's supposed to be snow this weekend. I'm too old to drive across the country in snow. Alright, 1 land drop, please. Yeah, that probably locks the game. Wouldn't be surprised this is a concession Nova. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like that play from the opponent's part. Like, we have so many good 5-mana spells in our hand, like, they're just not gonna get through, so they need to just hope we don't hit the 5th land. So, it feels bad when you, like, make your opponent have it and then they hit it, but it doesn't mean it was wrong to make them have it. No. If you don't think I should keep this, talk me out of it. Tell me why. Yeah, it looked like you were missing one of your colors there for a hot second. If they're playing an aggro deck, I get to cast a Cleansing Nova. If they're playing a control deck, I get to make my land drops. Alright, hero, yeah, Cleansing Nova sounds great. Sign me up. I don't know, are turns 1 to 4 that important? Like, there aren't that many decks in this format that kill me by turn 4. Like, if they're playing, like, green-black mid-range, if they're playing any mid-range deck, I'm super happy with this hand, right? I think in the dark against an unknown, this hand's fine. I don't think I'd keep it on the draw, but on the play, like, turn 5 Wrath is good enough against most of the things in the format, I think. I'd keep that hand too, which is probably a reason to mulligan it. Memekid would have destroyed us, you're not wrong. And that's one of the reasons why these control decks can struggle game 1 sometimes. Like, you keep hands that are a little bit speculative because they're good in some matchups, and like, you play a different matchup and you get got. Looks like the opponent, hopefully they don't have a second erasure here. Pair Cleansing Novas, Ixalan Binding Kicker. Opponent looks to be playing something too close to the Esper hero deck that we played yesterday at the end of the stream. Deck was pretty sweet. The never before seen quality of life patch between monthly updates. Yeah, it's really awesome that they did an update this morning. It really speaks volumes to how quickly they want to address any issues that occur. I think it's quite fantastic. Can I make any changes to this list for the best of 1 ladder? I'd probably put Lyra's and the 4th Deafening Clarion in the main deck. Because I'm told the ladder is like mono aggro. So if I was expecting to play against aggro most of my matches, I'd want Lyra and 4 Clarion. When they donated for a deck that's already on your website for deck list, so I need to go through the form? No, if you want to submit a deck that's on the website, you could just go ahead and send the donation in. I'm always okay with playing one of my own preferred list. Thanks for asking, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Skryl, thank you for the 4-month resub. Loving the content, especially all the YouTube stuff. Keep it up. Cyrel, like Scythe roll. Thank you for the 3rd of a year. Welcome back. I think we just do this, right? I think the sound effect here was great. I think I keep this, because remember, I'm scrying bottom, I'm not surveilling. So if I bottom this, I don't get to jumpstart it. Hey, AHC, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people you could support every month with that. Thanks for shipping it my way this month. That is the addendum sound effect, I think. Well, I don't know if it's addendum or if it's just the precog sound effect. It might just be the precog sound effect. Hey, DHA Kung Fu. Thanks for shipping your Beza bucks over here. I appreciate it. Sarcastic Necro with the brand new Prime. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for hanging out here. Remember, if you are new to the stream and you're enjoying my content, you like how I describe my plays, the variety of decks that we play, we usually change decks every hour to 2 hours on the stream, and we play all standard best of 3. Remember to hit that follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything. It lets you know when I go live and with what. If you're looking for some of my content while I'm offline as well, you can always check that out on my YouTube channel. Everything I stream gets archived there. There's like over 50 hours of content from this new standard format. Tapping my lands manually here so I can have Absorb up. Drew some bricks, but drew more Chemister's Insights. We're going to have to churn through some more cards. I don't think the Detention Sphere creature is very good. I'm busy. Hope you're doing well. How are you liking Arena? Arena is the digital Magic experience I always wanted, but thought couldn't be possible. Arena makes digital magic good in a way that I just honestly never thought it could be. The auto tapper does so much for digital magic, it's unreal. Thanks, Synthesis. I appreciate you lurking. I appreciate the compliment. Thanks for dropping in today. Yeah, D-Sphere was good because it was, honestly, even Detention Sphere might not be that good in this format because Detention Sphere, there's so many Mortifies running around, right? And there's Assassin's Trophies and stuff like, there's so much good interaction in this format. Gecko IQ, thank you very much for the Prime. Welcome, welcome. Have we tried a Bant mid-range build yet? The Flash deck we played is like a pseudo mid-range deck. I'd encourage you to go back and look at how I sideboarded against the aggro deck a second ago. Alright, well, now we binding the deputy. I did not shoot the sheriff, but I did bind the deputy. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Every problem has a solution. Let's start by taking you out of the equation.
You refuse to play submitted deck, say if it won't be fun for yours. Yeah, I reject decks all the time. I actually reject a lot less standard decks than I had to reject modern. People love trying to submit unplayable modern decks. Standard has a bigger range than modern does too, as far as playable is concerned, so that helps. Yeah, I agree. The fact that there's so much meaningful interaction for powerful cards is good. I really like Warden. I think it's a good flexible card that's like reasonable. The important thing to remember about Warden is that even though Warden feels bad sometimes because they are going to get their threat back after a second, it is still a 1-for-1 because they have to redraw it. All right, so I mean, next turn I get to Chemister's Insight. Oh, man, that's great. Night, night, Teferi.
I'm not ready for this quite yet.
I'm not ready for this quite yet. I agree. Yeah, powerful interaction creates fun formats. I agree. I feel like we're pretty far ahead at this point, right? Also, I would like to point out, like, just how many more cards we've seen than them. There's 41 cards in their deck. There's only 32 cards in ours. So, like, we've seen a significantly larger number of cards than they have. You can click on my graveyard on Deckmaster. So if you click on my graveyard, you'll be able to see the full thing, including the Jumpstart card in it. To be fair, in the defense of my opponent's deck, I think my opponent's deck has a bad Game 1 matchup against Control. A lot of the stuff they have going on does not line up well into what we're doing. And they're definitely going to get better post-board than we are. Let's get a little bit more information here about what's going to be in our hand before we discard. I think I just ditched this Justice Strike. I'm going to play Ral and shoot this next turn. If I submit an over 60 card Kiki Pod Bomb and you trim it, how much is a normal mono submission would be? I actually already have a Kiki Pod Bomb deck in the queue, I believe. I'm trying to avoid doubling up on decks in the modern queue at the moment. So you'd be welcome to cheer up the deck that's already in there to get it seen sooner. There should be a changelog on their Twitter, I believe. Alright, this game should be pretty well wrapped with the double absorb draw. We just need to, like, find a Niv-Mizzet so we can actually kill them. We're at the game is locked up, but our opponent isn't yet at 0 health portion of the control game, which having copies of Niv-Mizzet in your deck means you spend less time in this portion, which is nice. Do I play? Yeah, Magic Online's the only option for playing modern decks. So I stream starting about 8 a.m. every single morning during the week. And the first hour to hour and a half of the stream is we play an older format on Magic Online. So we play either Legacy or Modern to start every stream. And then we do a bunch of Arena, because Arena's great. A little variety is good though too. Definitely don't mind doing some MTGO. I think I just want all my threats here. I'm cutting the Cleansing Novas, even though they have the captains, or the heroes, because I'm bringing in a bunch of Clarions. I think that's fine. Warden's probably pretty bad here, because a lot of their threats aren't attacking necessarily. Maybe trim this extra Sabotage. This seems reasonable. What's my favorite deck in Modern? Green-Black Elves. Green-Black Elves is a good mix of, like, consistency and pressure. Enjoying the standard content. At some point soon, you'll need to show your streamer base the degeneracy that's Crucial Brand. What's going on, Abel? Thanks for the 3 months. I don't think Stroke seems very good. They have some bigger spells, but not a ton. I think I'd rather just have Absorb because it can tag their smaller things. I guess Ixalan's Binding's a little bit of a liability here. Shiv and Fire is probably fine because they have Thief of Sanity and they have Hero. Maybe just, like, don't mind having another Lyra so I can pressure them. I like boarding in extra threats in matchups like this. Is Sabotage might be better than Absorb in this matchup just because they're not super aggressive. Yeah, I'd buy that for $1 actually. Yeah, let's do that. How long till Black White Angels? We're probably going to finish this match and then play 1 or 2 more with Jeskai Control. Probably just 1 more. Jeskai Control matchups tend to go a long time. This hand's great. Sign me up. So this is, this hand is genuinely good, but a lot of the time when you're playing against a deck full of Duresses and Thought Erasures, you want to keep almost any opening hand that has functional lands in it, because if you try to mulligan for a hand that has better spells against a deck full of discard, you're just going to end up losing one of your better spells anyways. So, no reason to play an untapped land here other than to bluff, and I'd much rather just save myself the 2 points of life. When do you board in Negate, if not the Control Mirror? You board in Negate in the Control Mirror. This isn't a Control Mirror, though. My opponent's playing more of a mid-range deck with Thief of Sanity, Hero of whatever it's called, Deputy of Detention. While they do have Teferi and some other cards that are similar to a control deck, they are not a dedicated control deck. So I don't want a card like Negate here when they could be jamming creatures down my throat. Enjoying the new content. Your stream has brought back my appreciation for a good standard format. Well, thanks for the 5 months to support PlayWho. I'm glad to hear that. Both standard and arena are excellent. That's for certain. Yeah, someone said Darby was playing something similar to this too. We played a little bit of it last night. It seemed sweet. Yep, Discovery can resolve. If they played a Thought Erasure here, I'd probably absorb it just to keep them out of my hand, but I don't really care about them just cantripping. For those that are new to Magic, cantrip is what we refer to a card that draws a card on it. So Discovery would be referred to as a cantrip. Revitalize, another example of a cantrip in Standard. Cards that draw 2 cards, like Chemister's Insight, however, are not cantrips. Just drawing a single card is a cantrip. A deck that doesn't require a lot of wild cards. The Mono Red Steamkin deck is pretty sweet and doesn't require a lot of wild cards. Mono Blue Tempo is also a good example. You can find both my preferred Steamkin and my preferred Mono Blue list on my website. Click Standard Decks at the top. A lot of good resources there for a variety of different decks in this format. My first water's almost empty. That's sad. Thought Erasure. Yeah, that's fine. Not McNasty, thank you very much for the Prime support. I didn't think you were nasty at all. Thanks for keeping me around here. Not super surprised to see them take Chemister's Insight here, because the rest of my hand's pretty redundant. If I do this now, I have to discard one, but I think that's fine. gonna go ahead and discard a land here, since I have another. In the mono red meta, I think it's okay. I think it has the tools to be successful there. So I'm gonna Teferi, and then during my end step, after I untap my lands before they untap and have a counterspell up, I will Swift Strike, Justice Strike this. So I put a stop on my end of turn here, so we'll untap 2 lands, and then before we pass to them, we'll Justice Strike this. This game should mostly be over at this point. I've not seen Durward's list. So basically everything I play on stream is viewer submitted deck list. So if someone doesn't add it to the queue, it basically doesn't get played. All right, they hit the land for contempt here, so we get to actually play a game. I think I just jam Niv here. Make them have another removal spell. Which, to be fair, we know my opponent has 5 spells in their hand right now because they were missing land drops for a little bit. I believe Magic Arena plays the appropriate one. Pretty sure that's the case. What's going on, Igala boy? Woo. So I unfortunately don't have cards to let me trigger this Niv-Mizzet a bunch, which is sad. But I think it's really, while I think there might be merit to Deputy of Detention being playable in Standard in general, you definitely should not leave it in against a removal-heavy control deck that has sweepers. I'm timing people out that are talking about playing the removal spell that they saw. It plays the right one, chat. It plays, unless you're using different artworks and you have 2 Lava Coils, it plays the one that they don't know about. It plays one that they know about, sorry. Would you consider taking decks specifically for designed for best of 1 and playing it there? No, Gabriel Paints. I find best of 1 Magic incredibly frustrating, and I play Magic to have fun. Also, I have an overabundance of deck lists that people want to see played in best of 3, so I generally prefer playing best of 3. Would you play Settle the Wreckage in this deck? I'm not a big fan of Settle the Wreckage in Jeskai. I feel like Settle the Wreckage is often very telegraphed in this archetype, and it allows good players to play around it. There's a lot of situations, obviously, where they aren't going to be able to play around it, but I think, in general, I'd rather hedge by just playing Deafening Clarion and Cleansing Nova. Oh, I made up. This is actually a pretty big mistake here. I should have played Steam Vents on 1, because now I have to shock in order to hold Absorb up on turn 3. I'm going to keep that one there. So, this is, if I would have played this on 1, I could have played Clifftop here. What does this deck do against the Danto Vanguard turn 2? We have Warden. You can warrant it back to the top of their deck and then counterspell it on the way back down. But we are a little bit light on a Danto Vanguard answers for sure. The red-white prison list is from this season because there's no updates for it. Potentially, Settle an Angel could be good in Jeskai. I think that's definitely the case. Lava Coil does not answer a Danto Vanguard. So, Lava Coil does not beat Indestructible. It's a very common mistake, though. Lava Coil says if it would die, exile it, but an Indestructible creature doesn't die from damage, so that doesn't happen that way. Someone else asked about Adanto. Another way you could just like put Niv-Mizzet into play and block. Yeah, Lava Coil is Boros Charm with Adanto out. Looks like my opponent is likely playing the big red deck. I think I just go ahead and absorb this here. And then hopefully find a land next turn to stick Teferi and tuck their treasure map. Feels bad bidding that, but I want to hit the land this turn. Alright, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and do that. I don't know what the merits of Esper versus Jeskai control are, really. I haven't played a good Esper control list yet this season. All the Esper dedicated control lists I played, it felt really underwhelming. And the biggest difference, I suppose, between the two is that not having access to Niv-Mizzet is a big deal. Oh, we have Ixalan's Binding that can answer Adonto Vanguard as well. So you got a small selection of them. How much to add Jeskai back to the queue for this? It's $10 to add a deck to the queue for subscribers. Look at that. How'd you know, Magic Arena? It's just what I wanted for Christmas. You don't need Docker to make Magic Arena work. You just need to install Wine Staging, and it just works like that. Arena is written in Unity, which runs very well under Wine. There's no finagling. You don't have to really jump through any hoops. So just do a Google search how to install Wine Staging on your operating system, and you'll be able to play this right away. Land, please. Rats. I know. I only need to look at your viewer count to know which format you're playing, right, Warder? We broke 1,000 for Modern this morning because Magic Arena was offline. The spectacle cards were sweet in the Modern deck. Does MTGO run well in Wine? Well, MTGO doesn't run well in general, but MTGO doesn't run worse in Wine than it runs on Windows. Holy gosh. It's a touch unfortunate. Yeah, I agree, Red Mage Frank. If the new non-rotating format is anywhere close to as good as this current standard format, I plan to probably cut my Moto leagues down to like 2 to 3 a week, if that. What do I think about artifacts? Artifacts are a card type that you can remove with things like Ixalan's Binding. Is Wine a Linux-based system? Wine is a software compatibility layer that allows you to run Windows applications on a Unix operating system. So it lets me run Magic Arena on Linux or OS X. Wow, their hand must be really bad. Alright, I don't know exactly what their deck is doing, but this is definitely a matchup where I want to board in all of my threats, because my opponent's deck is likely a Banefire deck, and I want to be able to kill them before they kill me with Banefire. I think they're actually more of a mid-range deck. I'm gonna cut these sweepers because I don't want to kill my own creatures. I think Jeskai control is easily going to continue to be tier 1. It was good. It was good last season. It's likely going to continue to be good this season. Wine is a compatibility layer. It's not an emulator. Yeah, feels like Big Red, right? Maybe I don't want all of these sweepers in Big Red. I think I want a couple though. Probably sure my Chemister's Insight. What do we think of this? Like bring in all the threats, the guys and the gals. Leave our planeswalkers in as card advantage. Bring in the extra Lava Coils because they do have Chain Whirlers and Phoenixes. Bindings, even the extra Binding might be good too. This is too much top end. I want to trim morale. Yeah, let's do that. Now, I think I like the Absorbs. I think my opponent's best chance to win this matchup is cheesing us out with a Banefire, so I want to keep all my health gain in. They have Legion War Boss in the sideboard. That makes sense, but I'm leaving a lot of spot removal in. Maybe that's a reason to leave more Clarions in, but like, I have a bunch of spot removal. Having this card is so wonderful. It really is. Selesnya tokens / aggro going forward. If I was going to play Selesnya tokens or aggro, I would definitely be interested in trying to splash blue with all of our good mana and try and play Dovin in it. Is Golgari dead yet? No, I'd be pretty surprised if Golgari wasn't still one of the best decks in the format. It ain't going anywhere, chat. When playing 3 colors, how do you know how many shock / buddy lands versus basics? No, there isn't really, so there isn't a hard and fast article. It kind of varies archetype to archetype. That might be a good article for me to write for next week, actually, talking about some of the ways to identify how you do that. It's a very common question. Yeah, at the tournament this weekend, you're going to probably see a lot of people still playing Golgari. Arena right now, it's definitely a lot of people doing exploration and trying to figure out exactly what they want to do. All right, Banefire target number 1.
If you show remorse, we need to move quickly.
We need to move quickly. Play my 3 mana Planeswalker. Will people stick to the good stuff, or will they bring new decks? So, the week 1 standard format, for people that aren't familiar with paper Magic tournaments, week 1 standard tournaments tend to lack in variety and diversity for 2 reasons. First is that people don't have a lot of time to test to figure things out. Second is that week 1 standard tournaments tend to lack in variety because it's expensive to get new Magic cards week 1 in paper. Like, you will often pay $20+ for a mythic that you want to play week 1 that will be worth $10 or $5 or less weeks later. So it's very, very expensive to play week 1 standard with new cards. This matchup's gotta be a joke for us. Where can you find your Magic articles? You can find my articles every single week on coolstuffinc.com. In fact, I believe if my editor got it out, I was late with my deadline this week, but my editor's usually great. Yeah, my editor's awesome. There's a new article from me talking about my favorite cards in this standard format on Cool Stuff Inc. today. So definitely be sure to check that out. No, my articles are not premium. They are free to read. Freedom. It looks like they're playing mono red splash blue. Seems neat. So I think I'm actually gonna plus Teferi rather than tuck card because I would like to cast Chemister's Insight this turn. It kind of snowballs my card advantage here. Why not give him the shock land? I should give him the shock land. It doesn't matter probably. You're right. It is technically optimal to give them a shock land. Should have sequenced around Spell Pierce. Yeah, probably. I definitely think all your decks should have some number of basics in them between Assassin's Trophy and Settle the Wreckage and lots of other factors. I think having basics in your deck is important. Even if it's just 2 to 3. Pretty much all of my 3 color decks that I'm building have some number of basics in them.
Plan B.
Do they have a Lightning Strike here? If they have a Lightning Strike, yeah. That's cute. Okay. I dig it. This just doesn't even seem fair. This just doesn't even seem fair. And like I get to plus Teferi and hold up Absorb. This has been a good reminder that all the decks that were good last season are still great, chat. Just in case anybody was wondering. All the decks that were good last season, still excellent. Oh no, don't Banefire my Teferi. How will I ever win the game if you do that, opponent? Please, no, please don't Banefire my Teferi.
Hey, that was uncalled for.
That was uncalled for. Honestly, if they spend 2 spells here, no, that one can stop. Maybe I just let that resolve. I don't want them to take my Chemister's Insight, though. Oh. How will I ever answer this incredibly resilient threat, chat?
Hold that thought.
This threat's just so resilient. How can a control deck ever deal with this one? I know Teferi isn't a Simic card, but I really feel like he should have a wet fart noise because, like, he's just so obnoxious. He's so obnoxious, chat.
I'm not done yet.
This is my favorite part of the game. The part of the game where they've lost, but they're not conceding for whatever reason. It's truly, truly joyous. And like, now I get to put the Sulfur Falls into play, and then my Teferi's gonna untap my Azcanta. Yeah, the drawing 4 cards a turn portion. Don't worry though, they have this treasure map, and it's gonna generate card advantage and get them out of this. They can totally win this game still. Like, we're not even in Banefire range, and like Lyra's gonna get us even further out of Banefire range. Gosh, where? Maybe I should have tucked this. Yeah, this was a mistake. I should have tucked this. Let's find an Ixalan's Binding to make up for my mistake. Woof. Alright, awkward. Do I tuck this in? I'm gonna tuck this in. So, I could have a Teferi at 5 right now instead of a Teferi at 1, but I think it's right to do this. We have an embarrassment of riches. Stop it, you're killing him. The worst part about killing them is we have to stop drawing cards. Once your opponent's dead, you have to stop doing that. It's the worst. So if I cast this in response, they really don't have anything to do. Sure. It depends on how many cantrips you have hit and what turn you want to cast it on. You don't concede? Nah, you gotta value your time higher than that.
Skip to the good part.
Alright, the Warden's here to put Mono Red in their place, okay? Thank you for making my Warden dreams come true. Pretty unlucky. Had to move to hand size. Yeah, they played Expansion Explosion. Is there a good standard primer now that Arena? I need to play some. I haven't played since Con. So we just got a new set, Waffle, so we don't really know necessarily what's good and what's not. Let's play one more with Jeskai control before we move on to Black White Angels. This deck feels really impressive. I like a lot of what's going on here. Good game stirp. I think that matchup's kind of tough for your deck. Jeskai is usually pretty good against the mid-range decks. You're all sadistic Teferi players. Sure. Tokens was fine last season. I think token splashing for Dovin ban is probably going to be pretty good. How long does it typically take for the meta to settle after a set release? Usually a couple of tournaments. The first tournament this weekend for the SCG will kind of set the stage a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just Lava Coil this so he can stop make wet farts. Keeps pressure off the table and stops him from generating some card advantage. This is probably my pick from one of the best rares from the new set. This card's very, very good. Tilt. What decks will be tier 1 in New Standard? All the decks that were tier 1 last season will be tier 1 again this season, and maybe Groll or something like that will be good in addition to those. Hey, Xerg, thanks for the $10 tip, I appreciate it. Could you add Jeskai control back to the queue? Definitely. Thanks for the content talkie box, man. I do my best. I think I'm gonna keep this. Now let's dig for more action. I have one in my hand already. Perfect. That is the perfect draw there. Super rewarded for making the right play. Now, I'm a big fan of Clarion, personally. Settle the Wreckage tends to be pretty telegraphed when you have it. Are you now the largest MTG-only streamer? No, objectively, the largest MTG-only streamer is definitely Nox. Nox has absurd viewer numbers. I'm one of the biggest, but definitely not the biggest. There's actually this really sweet website called Sully that you can see lots of Twitch statistics on, which is fun if you're a stats person. Can we just like someone was just asking about Clarion versus something else? Like, can we appreciate Clarion on this board? I think I'm gonna keep that. Seems fine. You're the most informative. Well, that's subjective, but I thank you for the compliment. I do my best to be informative. Think we'll see it perform at the SCG event? Nah, probably not. Because people just think everything has to change, B-Fly. It's very human nature to want things to like change and be different. So against an aggressive deck, I want to board in my extra spot removal out of the sideboard, as well as my extra sweepers, and trim on some of my top end, my extra card advantage, my extra counterspell, stuff like that. Basically, I want to take my curve and pull it lower to the ground, so my opponent is less likely to be able to get under me with an aggressive draw. Do I want extra creature threats in this matchup? Clarion seems okay. I don't know. There's a good chance like they're playing Pod Mom, which makes Clarion a little bit mediocre. Not sure if I necessarily want that or not. Yeah, the difference between Magic Online and Magic Arena is night and day, Waffle. And thank you. Good to see you back around. Yeah, we've played a couple iterations of Esper, and none of them have impressed me so far. Yes, the number of followers. I've picked up, like, the number of followers on Twitch I picked up in the last week almost is like compared to like half my YouTube. YouTube is impossible to grow compared to Twitch. It's been really awesome. Need a couple of cuts here. I'm gonna trim and absorb in a Clarion, I think. It might be right to bring in more creature threats, but I'm not 100% sure what the opponent is doing right now. So I can maybe see this. Hey, Humble Geek. Humble Greek. Thank you very much for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. And especially when it doesn't have a sideboard. If you leave a sideboard blank, I'm happy to put a sideboard together for deck submissions. Yeah, YouTube definitely doesn't help people grow. I'm going to play my first SCG Standard Open next month. Any advice getting into it? You can't over-communicate. A lot of the issues that happen with two players while they're playing, while playing are because of a lack of communication. I'm gonna keep this. This might be a little slow on the draw though. Yeah, the number of followers I picked up in the last month is like a quarter of what I got in the last year. Perfect. Deafening Clarion is the absolute perfect draw here because it gives us the ability to clean up any early pressure that the opponent might put into play. Is it okay to ask how many subs you have and how many you've gained in the last few days with the new set? Yeah, I mean, sub counts or whatever. I currently have 2,803 unique subscribers. I don't know offhand how many I've gained specifically in the last few days, though. Well, so subscribers and followers are different. So subscribers are the people who pay my bills, right? So I appreciate everybody being here watching, but like a bulk of the money when you stream on Twitch, like while you do make some money from ad revenues and like sponsor banners and Tempo Storm and stuff like that, the bulk of my income is definitely from Twitch subs. They are the folks that pay my bills. This right here is a great example of why I didn't board in the 4th Clarion, because this is real awkward. Also, I really like my opponent's line here of getting this going right away. Yeah, binding should set up to be good here. If they jam this turn, I'm probably just gonna absorb it. I mean, most people who stream on Twitch, like some people even like put their sub count in their overlay even. You're not wrong, Bob. So let's binding here and wrap this up. Yep, yeah, the Twitch integrations are A+ for sure. All right, getting a negate used on that as opposed to a Planeswalker feels pretty reasonable. I only have one instant in here, so Ral's pretty far away from being a removal spell, but Teferi can tuck something here soon. Money is to keep Jeff employed and me entertained. Thanks for the biddies, J-Rock. Be sure to take a peek at the queue and let me know if there's something you'd like to bump up in there. Definitely getting a little bit low here. So, I'm dead if they have an untapped land next turn, so I have to play this and tuck Azcanta, which feels really bad because she draws a card when she comes into play. Yeah, the opponent's deck is really sweet. We played a Bant deck yesterday with Climb in it, and our conclusion at the end was we wanted to play just green-blue Climb. Yeah, there was a quality of life MTG update this morning. Let's bump Bant Ooze. Sounds great, J-Rock. Am I dead? Yeah, wow, we're dead. Their deck is sweet. That seems really awesome. So this flips into a 5/5, then they make it a 10/10 and kill us. It was really impressive. Do I want to change anything? I probably want another binding. Do I want Lyra? Nah, probably not. I feel like I want some of this. Yeah, Clarion was good in the first game. I don't want to cut all of them, but trimming some is probably fine. I'm gonna try this. 2 Lyra seems good. She stabilizes us really nicely. Is there a comm for Arena Patch Notes? Someone said they tweeted them, but I'm not sure offhand. Alright, I'm prepared to never draw a 3rd land and die, but I think this is keepable with the Lava Coil. Patch notes are on the forums. Look at that. Thank you, Demox. Well, that's not a land that we're looking for, but it is another castable spell, so that's nice. Yeah, there actually is an Elf Deck Waffle. If you go to my website, you can find videos of it, my current deck list there. There's been a lot of updates to my website since the Hex days. If we draw a white source here, I'm definitely going to Deafening Clarion this Jade Light Ranger. Alright, I mean, that's better than missing, right? I'm going to take a hit from this for the turn. I guess taking a hit here is bad, because now they can Zagana and draw a card. Maybe they're also missing land? Sweet. Sweet. Is this worth negating? I mean, Deathgorge Scavenger does take my Chemister's Insights away. And it makes my Ral a little bit worse, which they saw out of me. That's really scary. Alright, don't have another negate, please. They have another negate. Alright. Well, we're dead. Yikes. Hey, I always hate to end on a low note, but we've definitely been playing Jeskai Control for about an hour and a half, so we're gonna go ahead and move along here. Yeah, the blue-green deck looks sweet. Definitely, we've got a couple of copies of Blue-Green Climb in the queue that we're going to get to at some point, so I'm excited to get to those later on. As far as Jeskai Control goes, I think I was reasonably happy with what we have here. Again, last season I was a pretty big fan of Deafening Clarion Cleansing Nova splits, as opposed to playing Settle the Wreckage. I think I was pretty happy with my same mix of threats again. The mana base is an easy upgrade. Absorb felt fantastic. My big takeaway to talk about is probably this Warrant Warden, though. Honestly, I could even see playing a third copy of this card. I was really pretty impressed with what it had going on. But at the same time, Lava Coil and Justice Strike also felt reasonable. So a 2-2-2 split on this 2-mana removal is probably not the worst. Hey, Tars, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Welcome. As far as the sideboard goes, we talked earlier about potentially adding a copy of Invoke the Divine. I think that's probably the one change I'd make. Sliding and Invoke in here probably over this third Ixalan's Binding is probably pretty reasonable. Theater of Horrors is kind of a scary card, and Experimental Frenzy is also running around still as well. I wasn't a big fan of Adrian Sullivan's 4X Jeskai treasure map. When I played it, it just felt like it had too many 6-drops in it. Any game where you didn't play treasure map on 2, you just fell really far behind.